Good afternoon, viewers. Welcome to Punchline Africa Television, broadcasting all the way from Nairobi, the Republic of Kenya. Viewers, wherever you were this afternoon, it is exactly 14 minutes past 2 o'clock East African Standard Time. The topic on the board, the topic on the show is Zimbabwe. Remove the sanctions. Zimbabwe sanctions have been there since 2002, after the hotly contested elections where ZANU-PF won and the MDC cried foul. From 1997, Zimbabwe was the beacon of hope. Back to 1980. The Lancaster Agreement accepted and allowed, and it said, never shall we change any comma on the Lancaster Agreement until 1995, 15 years to elapse later. Zimbabwe remained guarded with reforms. Zimbabwe was the first country in Africa to embrace reconciliation. Zimbabwe was the first country in Africa to forgive and forget and move on. Zimbabwe was the first country in Africa under ZANU-PF to allow the old colonial masters who had grabbed land, who had enslaved the millions and the millions of black majority, who had put them in rainfall areas of A and B, left them, removed them, and gave to 4,000 commercial farmers, white, to till the land, to look after the exports, imports, as far as agriculture was concerned. In 1997-98, the situation changed. The government of Zimbabwe decided that they will redistribute land, one man, one vote. One man, one farm. This was done. Those who wanted more farms could not wait. Those who wanted one man, one farm waited. As we speak today, Zimbabwe is a multinational, is a country with all cultures, blacks, white, yellow, green. They all live together harmoniously in Zimbabwe. There's no segregation. There's no first treatment or second treatment in Zimbabwe against all the whites, the yellow, the blacks who have stayed. Zimbabwe has moved on better than America. Because today in America, Trump tells people to get out of America. But Trump is putting sanctions on us Africans, and we are laughing, we are clapping. Trump is telling everybody to quit. Those who are not Americans to leave America. And today, we Africans are laughing. Trump is segregating the Latinos, the Africans, the Obamas. He's putting a fence to allow on the doors that he wants to encourage mercantile capitalism. The capitalism that has destroyed, killed the never-ending problems of the world. Today, Donald Trump is chest bumping, telling us he will increase more sanctions on Zimbabwe. Yet he doesn't want the same Zimbabweans to go to America. Today, Trump is telling people that Zimbabwe has not reformed. Yet America is deforming. America is sending away black people from America to return to Africa. All those from Uganda, from Kenya, from Tanzania, from every part of Africa are being told go back home. At the same time, Trump comes to follow the same Africans on the continent of Africa and imposes sanctions. The United States of America president has extended for 1 year sanctions against Zimbabwe, saying the new government policies continue to pose an unusual, extraordinary threat to Washington policy. I want you who has studied international relations, if you have ever studied international relations, I want anybody to write an exam with me, because I can write an exam better than Trump, to tell me how Zimbabwe has threatened Washington's foreign policy. How? Zimbabwe has no nuclear weapon. Zimbabwe is not near America. Zimbabwe has allowed a huge American base, an American base based in Zimbabwe, the biggest American diplomatic mission, the building, the sophisticated equipment, the nearest that the Zimbabweans can hear about America is smelling the equipment that is in Zimbabwe in the American embassy. How does Zimbabwe spoil American foreign policy? Washington, a threat. Zimbabwe is not North Korea. Zimbabwe is not China. Zimbabwe is not Cuba. Zimbabwe is not Colombia. Zimbabwe is not Iran. Zimbabwe people have never threatened the United States of America. Zimbabwe people have never killed an American, either in war or deliberately. Why has Zimbabwe continued to suffer under the sanctions of the American hegemony that does not like us Africans to go to America? It is chasing us away, at the same time telling us, we shall follow you, to hit you on your own soil. Are we Africans bewitched that we can't see the double standards that are used on democracy? People talk about the democracy. Abraham Lincoln said, democracy is pitting ambition against ambition. The United States of America president wants to steal data from Ukraine in order to win an election. Is that democracy? Is that democracy? Tell me, Africans. A whole president of United States is put on trial for being a thief of cyber maniacs, being a man cyber thief who wants to steal equipment from Ukraine in order to win an election. I'm putting this to Africans listening, and I've tagged my friend Susan Rice, younger girl, my comrade Susan Rice. Rise up and defend where you came from. We worked together. Let's work together to change Washington's policy on Zimbabwe. My younger sister, come and we work together. Look at the Zimbabweans who are suffering, who are dying, not because democracy. No. Zimbabwe are dying because of sanctions. If you don't allow doctors to go to United States to get to United States and get information from the US on how they can treat curable diseases, are you not killing Zimbabweans? You are. If you don't allow civil servants from Zimbabwe to travel to United States in order to engage with other international community, are you not killing Zimbabweans? You are. If you don't allow the president, the ministers of Zimbabwe to access the United States, a developed state, a state with capacity to influence events on the African continent and elsewhere, to visit Washington, are you not killing Zimbabweans? You are. Viewers, Nkrumah talked and died. Nyerere talked and died. Patrice Lumumba talked, died. Gabriel Nasser, Sekutore, Haile Selassie, Robert Mugabe, Nelson Mandela. They called Nelson Mandela a terrorist. But at his death point, they call him a hero. Time has come for Africa to wake up that we are not second-class citizens who should be called heroes when we are on the dying. We should be called heroes when we are still speaking for Africa. The first coup in 1965 in Ghana took place because Kwame Nkrumah told the truth. Mugabe was hated up to his death point because he said the truth. Haile Selassie was hated. Gabriel Nasser, Patrice Lumumba, whose grave we have never seen. That's why Congo is Congo. That's why DRC remains the sick child of Africa. DRC remains the sixth child of Africa because we never buried Patrice Lumumba. They killed him. They destroyed his body. It has haunted DRC. President Tshisekedi is trying to bring DRC. It's not manageable. Today, Zimbabwe has done nothing wrong. What has Zimbabwe done which America does not do? Tell me. America puts sanctions on blacks entering or whites entering from Mexico. Zimbabwe allows whites, Americans, to pay only $50 to come and enjoy Zambezi River. We have never done an equal to equal. We allow them to come and see our sunshine for free. We never put sanctions. They put sanctions for us to go and see them. To see them. Yet we are better off than they are. Why can't we stand up as Africans? Fully tell Trump that your press statement of yesterday, where Trump said Harare had failed to reform since 2017, whom does he want to reform Zimbabwe? Can Trump stand up and name to us we shall tell Emerson Mnangagwa that Trump has chosen for us a savior who is near Angel Gabriel to save Zimbabwe. Some of us are friends of Emerson Mnangagwa. We shall tell him we have got an angel from heaven who is going to save us. But for Trump to say that Emerson Mnangagwa has failed to reform Zimbabwe is stupid, naive, prudish, sardonic, silly. The most silly statement that I have ever heard. At least I went to school, not like a Trump. I stand that I struggle to study my books. I studied my books while cleaning the doors, the windows, the trains from London to Glasgow. I have no regrets for having looked for this information. Can Trump tell me where he studied to be able to equate, to measure the capability of African leaders? Let it be known that never shall we succumb to any stupidity, any malice. If you are dealing with traitors, the MDC of Zimbabwe is a traitor group formed by the Labour government of Tony Blair under Morgan Tsvangirai to tell lies about Zimbabwe. It is the MDC itself that went around the world to look for sanctions. Tell us where you saw ZANU-PF asking for sanctions to come and kill Zimbabwe. Show me. Show me. I have been here since 1997. I'm the only person in the United Kingdom who put my hand up in the Labour conference of Brighton opposed Tony Blair. I am the only one who told Tony Blair, you will come to seek for appointment consultants from Matsanga and Africa, not us anymore. If the MDC want to go that route, who are they representing? Mr. Chamisa, time has come for you to emulate examples of the Kenyan scenario. Raila Odinga was one of the most fearless man on planet Earth in Kenya. But Raila Odinga chose the country first. The former Prime Minister chose the country called Kenya first. And Chamisa, listen to me. I am sending this step to you, this message to you, that not Africa is impressed with you. Take a step forward. Meet Mnangagwa. Forget about the rest of imperial coating of chocolates that come with spikes of needles that are going to destroy you, younger man. Chamisa, younger man, take one step forward. Take a step forward. Forget about Jeffrey Smith, a lumpen, a man who has not studied even 1 degree past, but he was in a polytechnic, who comes to Africa to marshal you when you have studied the whole master's degree in Zimbabwe University. How can you be marshaled by a non-reader, scholar? I love some of these idiots, like Jeffrey Smith. I love them because I beat them in education, in intelligence. I'm intelligent as an African who went to wash plates, who went to wash toilets in the Glasgow-London train while reading the books, which I beat them now. They can show me one way why Zimbabwe should remain under the caste, the sick child of Africa. Yet Zimbabwe has the resources to be able to move. Why Jeffrey Smith can make a statement about Zimbabwe, yet they don't want Matsanga to make a statement about the United States of America. I wanted to tell George Soros that the money you pour everywhere, change your life, don't change us. We are already determined as Africans to refuse your money. The younger boys who run around picking money from George Soros like Chamisa, desist from it. It has leprosy. It will catch you up. These small boys picking money in the United States, coming to India, Africa. Stop it. Take a step forward. Africa is your country. Zimbabwe is your country. You cannot injure Zimbabweans beyond this. You don't eat democracy. You eat food. Zimbabwe is lacking food because America has put sanctions on Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe wants to sell its diamonds. If they sold their diamonds in the world without American sanctions, they would buy their own food. This is what kills me and hurts me as a Ugandan Pan-African. I'm not a Zimbabwean. I'm not an African who fears to go into any war against any form of stupidity. I'm not. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. I want to tell my people of Zimbabwe, the government, the Minister S.B. Moyo, General Moyo, we have been very far with you, from very far, when the late General Vinavashe was around. Let's start a campaign on these people. Let's start an overall international campaign. Forget your differences. Don't bring in Obasanjo. Obasanjo is a traitor. Obasanjo will sell you out. Let's start our own lobby. There are many millions of black people, white people in the United Kingdom, in Europe, who will support our cause as Africans asking for sanctions to be removed from Zimbabwe. Thank you. I now want to cross over to Zimbabwe, and I want to speak our correspondent or one person from Zimbabwe who will be able to tell us more. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, Zimbabwe. Are you still on the line? Good afternoon. Good afternoon, comrade. Okay, thank you very much. Those were opening remarks from me. I am really, today I'm charged because I need to charge in order for people to listen to me. What are your views on the sanctions against Zimbabwe?
In 2001, the United States of America and the European Union imposed sanctions on Zimbabwe. And the economic characteristics to be there. That relating the United States basically sanctions of Zimbabwe.
Your audio is not clear. Can you look for another system? Can you place your phone on live link on ours? We are hearing you vividly, and the viewers are not hearing you. Can you now speak louder or speak direct to the microphone? Yes.
Are you hearing me now?
We hear you now.
Thank you very much. Now on the topic. In 2001, the United States of America and the European Union involved in illegal economic action.
I think we can't, Mr. Comrade from Harare, we are not getting you. We are not getting you properly. We shall fix that. And perhaps you come back through, you'll come back through tomorrow or another day, you'll come back through Skype so that we can be able to relate properly. Your line into Harare seem to have a lot of interruptions. Thank you very much. We come back to the point, and as I wind up, the question of Zimbabwe does not need only Zimbabweans. There are people here, MDC surrogates, the same surrogates of MDC, who think that it's only Zimbabweans who should talk about Zimbabwe. If you injure one Africa, you kill the other Africa. If you destroy one African country, you have killed all of us. It doesn't matter. I was not born an Englishman. I was born an African. But I struggled to read English, to write exams in English, and pass it very well. I was not colonized to be able to read and cram every part of English. That's why most of you younger Zimbabweans think that you are colonized to speak nicely like a Mzungu, so that you are respected. And that's why you have lost it, and you sell your country everywhere to the highest bidder. The problem of Zimbabweans in the diaspora, especially those lumpens of MDC who go around pretending to be speaking better English, is they sell their souls and their hearts against 1 pence, 1 penny, 1 pound to tell Britain how bad Zimbabwe is. I come from Uganda, but I've never called for sanctions against Uganda. I have been in opposition for 35 years, opposing President Museveni. I'm the only person you see here who has never surrendered to President Museveni's machinations. I've never sold my country. Neither can I call for sanctions against my country. My conscience is clear that I will never sell my country. I will never call upon Trump to put sanctions on my country, because I know my people will suffer. Museveni can buy anything he wants in Europe, but my people cannot have it. Therefore, I don't call for sanctions. I have returned the parties in Uganda. There's multipartyism. 34 years ago, where were you? You small person sitting on Facebook somewhere in Washington washing toilets. I did wash the same toilets. But I'm here with a doctorate. I'm here with enough political science to teach some of these small surrogates who pick money from George Soros. Nothing can stop us from telling you. Nothing will stop us from telling you the truth. You MDC are surrogates. You go around picking money. Tendai Biti. You pick money from George Soros to come and molest Zimbabweans. Sakala, all of you are on the payroll of George Soros. The Zimbabwe intelligence is not telling you. We tell you now. We support fully, we as Africans who helped you to liberate yourselves. You never liberated yourselves. We paid taxes to you Zimbabweans in order to liberate you. You have nothing you can say beyond that. I have never surrendered any right. I hate younger men who fly to Washington, D.C. to pick money from George Soros. Like a Tendai Biti, a mature man who should have molded the MDC into a positive opposition party. Leads delegation by delegation to go to the Trump administration to seek more sanctions. To say Zimbabwe should have more sanctions. How long will the people in Mazoe, Buhera, Lupani, how long will they suffer? Sanctions kill the people of Bulawayo, Bindura, Mazoe, Kariba, Mount Down, Victoria Falls, Mutoko. All these areas, people are dying because sanctions. The government cannot deliver anything to them because they are handicapped. A country without borrowing from IMF, how will it sustain itself? Tell me. Tell me. How can a country survive when IMF and the World Bank blacklist it? It doesn't borrow because of Trump. How will Mnangagwa deliver the services that the Zimbabweans are talking about? Because America says, don't deal in the dollar. How will the economy of Zimbabwe come back? How? Jonathan Moyo, my brother, you molested most of the people who are now you are claiming to be fighting for. Jonathan Moyo, you are one of the few ministers of Mugabe who should actually keep quiet and completely rest in your exile home. I don't know why the United Nations refugee status cannot check on how you use the United Nations refugee status to attack a sovereign state every morning, every evening, every afternoon. Don't forget what you did to some of us when you are in power in Harare. You have forgotten Jonathan Moyo. But you can see what life is. What you do to others is done to you, Jonathan. You can see how life is in exile, to be a refugee. Because you did to us what most of us cannot do to you. We forgive you. But for you writing, things against the president of Zimbabwe, inciting younger men to go and kill people with pangas, machete, you are inciting people. Soon the international law will catch up with you. You are sending people to be beaten, then call it a different game. I challenge all of you. Those who hate, what solution can you give? Do you have an angel, Gabriel, who can bring a miracle? Even if you gave Chamisa leadership today, will Chamisa remove the burden of sanctions that is on Zimbabwe? Let's listen. Let's talk like Africans. Let's engage. Let Chamisa, the younger man, I'm willing to meet you at your destination, anywhere. I'll show you the hand, how Raila came to meet Uhuru. In Kenya, where I'm speaking from, there is peace Because the leader of opposition did not look at himself as an individual. He looked at himself as a Kenyan. He crossed over, shook hands with President Uhuru Kenyatta. There was peace. There was no peace after elections. Why don't you do it the same, Chamisa? My brother, younger man. We have seen a lot of things. What you are going through today is what I went through in 1985 when Museveni took power. But I did not waffle. I stood for my people. I stood for the entire northern Uganda. I brought peace in my northern Uganda. There is no one who will say I did not play a part. I stopped guns in northern Uganda, which had taken 22 years. I made President Museveni to agree to shake my hand. I did not want to shake his hand, but he had to shake my hand. I am happy. He is happy. We have brought our Uganda to where it is. There is no war. We don't eat democracy. We eat when there is peace. Democracy will come. Who told you that democracy ends? Who? Who told you? Who told you that democracy ends? So we have to run for it like a race. Gentlemen and ladies, viewers, I can see many of you, some of you who hate Mugabe, who hate Mr. Emerson Mnangagwa. I don't work for Emerson Mnangagwa. I work for Pan-African Forum. I speak for Africa. From morning, I've been speaking for Africa. From Kenya, back to Kenya, Somalia, ICC, ICJ, I speak for Africa. Don't put me in your petty stupid politics of parties of MDC. I am not a member of ZANU-PF. I am purely an academic who sees Africa going in the wrong direction when a leader of United States of America heaps sanctions on a country that is dying. A country that is dying, you heap more sanctions instead of helping them. America should help to bring about that type of democracy. What is democracy? I have read the Plato Republic. I have never seen where democracy is a defined element that you should sanction somebody in order to get democracy. Where? Anybody who has read the Plato Republic, where are you? Where have you read the Plato Republic which tells you? Where? Where have you read the Republic, the Plato Republic, Socrates, Aristotle? Everything is here for me. I've never seen where they say there is a specified type of democracy. That is only that democracy. And that once that democracy is put, is when you can refuse or remove sanctions. Trump, whether you are in MDC, whether you are in ZANU-PF, please remove sanctions from Zimbabwe. Remove sanctions from Zimbabwe. I don't care about your internal politics. That's your problem. My problem is Trump heaping more sanctions on a country that is collapsing, on a country whose economy is on the knees, on a country which is not near his border, on a country that has done nothing wrong to him, on a country that does not sell cyber equipment and data for him to steal to win an election in the United States. There are people glorifying Trump, thinking Trump is better. It's better. Wow. I can't glorify a man who is destroying Africa, who is killing Zimbabwe. Just as I fought Idi Amin and removed Idi Amin from power, we shall defeat sanctions. I have no regrets. I've been a fighter. And probably these are younger boys of MDC who don't know what a gun is. Go on threatening people. Don't threaten people. Threaten your lives, yourselves. Regret. Don't cry for me. Cry for yourselves. Because you are calling for sanctions to kill your own people in Zimbabwe and manufacture stories that there are human rights abuses. Shame on you, MDC. Shame. Shame on you again. What can you do? My children are grown. You can only talk to them, not to talk to me even. Shame on you. You manufacture things, then you say there are human rights abuses in Zimbabwe. No. There are newspapers printing every day in Zimbabwe. Even some writing stories of corruption against Mnangagwa. Is he locking you up? Don't tell lies to white people so that you can get some work to carry their bees and their people old homes. Kwenda, you Zimbabweans are shamers. You are shamers. Where are the bad human rights? Where are the people beating people in Zimbabwe? Where? Which street? Show me. All editors in Zimbabwe newspapers are writing against corruption, cartels. Is Mnangagwa locking anybody up? No. Don't tell lies. Don't. You are telling lies. All the MDC papers, government papers, are writing about cartels, are writing about corruption, writing about economy. Nobody is locking up anybody. There is freedom of speech, assembly, association in Zimbabwe. Except now, there is coronavirus, which all of us have to be very careful about, not to allow ourselves to be killed by the coronavirus. Gloria to Gloria, don't patronize me. That you make Zimbabweans hungry. So who are you? You liberated yourselves? Did you liberate yourselves? Did we pay our money to liberate you? What did you have? Nothing. We are not making you. We are making you correct. Uganda paid the price. Our government was overthrown in 1971 because of crying for Rhodesia, for you people, Salisbury, to be free. We lost a government. We lost the people because of you. Do you know the history? You younger men are playing about every time. Oh, human rights. Where are they? Where are they? Shops are there. People are breaking property. Are people breaking shops in Zimbabwe? Where? Show me. Don't you deal with these stupid wazungus that you can confuse like a Jeffrey Smith. I am not Jeffrey Smith. On Dr. Nana Kofi of Obasanjo. I am different. I am different. And let me take off my glasses so that you can know me. I am different. I don't take lazy brains. I engage brains. Thank you. Thank you very much. Etina Chihera, I'm a citizen of global world. And I don't need your lecture and the patronage to patronize me where I should go or how to go. At least Uganda is better than you who is telling lies about your own country. You should actually tell the truth. Have I told you that there is everything good in Uganda? No. I've told you that there is everything. At least we have one thing in Uganda. We have security. In Zimbabwe, you have security. That is very good. We have goods. We have materials. We have economy. Ugandans have economy. You don't have. Because you are reporting yourself every day to Bazungu. Oh, I was abducted. Oh, I was banned here. Oh, I am this. They want to kill me because I was wearing a skirt when I was supposed to wear this. Oh, this. That type of politics in Africa. Forget it. Just go to a Mzungu and say, you want to come to sleep here. Don't tell lies. Younger men, don't tell lies. Tell Chamisa, stop calling for sanctions. Tell Tendai Bit, I've said it, and I will say it again. Tell them the general from Uganda said. Yes, the man from Nachingwea, Tabora, Iringa, Ruvuma said, go and hang on a transformer if you are affected by what I've said, which are facts about the government of Zimbabwe. The government of Zimbabwe has tried. Mnangagwa has tried, has given freedom to you people. You speak, you write, you insult him. Some of you, look at the comments. Look at the comments, educated people. Look at the comments they are doing. You are educated. You have gone to universities in Britain, in Leeds, in Cambridge. Then you write such comments. What state shall we leave you with? It is better to deal with ZANU-PF than dealing with lumpens of this nature. Sorry state of MDC. Very sorry. I'll write a letter to Chamisa to seek him and to ask him to come and hear from Raila Amolo Odinga, the former Prime Minister of Kenya, who lost an election but went to greet Uhuru Kenyatta. Today, look at the peace we have in Kenya. Look at me. Look at the smile we have. Now you tell me you don't want to shake hands with a man who won an election, a man whose election was ratified. That's the correct English. Ratified by the Supreme Court. That although there were few mistakes here and there, they did not mar the entire electoral process. Therefore, the election is valid. Why do you want to quarrel anymore? Everybody here is talking of, you know, Zimbabweans are fond of, they think they speak better English, so they annoy people. But I'm not the type who will be annoyed. I'll read out your name, Ustin Chireha Emume Makafeiden. Maybe you have even changed your name in order to survive. But don't worry about that. I am not an Englishman. I just want you to understand that the plight of the people of Zimbabwe is more important. And the more you spread this message that time has come for the leader of opposition to seek to narrow down his gap, the gulf between him and Mnangagwa, meet, sit down, drive their country ahead without this 1 year sanction again, another year sanction again, another. People have suffered of sanctions. You don't need them anymore. Let the leader of opposition seek audience with the president. This solution will come. Thank you very much. Viewers, continue viewing it on YouTube. It is a very interesting topic. It is up to you to make judgment. I'm not a Zimbabwean. I comment on African issues. And Zimbabwe marks one of my countries in Africa because Mugabe was my friend. Emerson introduced me to Mugabe in the year 2001. We remained friends. General Chiwenga is my friend. We knew each other in Tanzania. Simbeyo Moyo is my friend. I knew him with General Fox Sevenavashe. Those are my comrades. We have struggled together a long way from 1978 until we got independence. Therefore, I owe the people of Zimbabwe a better life. I will not keep quiet. Every week, every day from today, I will be challenging you Zimbabweans to talk to your leaders. To talk to your leaders. To unite. Joshua Nkomo united with Mugabe. They brought a better Zimbabwe, which was destroyed by Tony Blair and Morgan Changarai and the Welshman Kube and Tendai beat. I defeated the late. We don't talk about the dead people who have gone because they cannot answer. But they brought chaos that you see on the country called Zimbabwe. Two of them are still alive, Welshman Kube and Tendai beat. Those guys brought sanctions against Zimbabwe. You should never forgive them. Always look at them, forget, but ask them to forgive and go back to call the same white people to remove the sanctions. I want to thank you very much.